Hello everyone, how are you all doing? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about a very important topic. Let's look at the hidden side of InShot terms and conditions. Now, here's where things get really interesting. When you download and start using InShot app, you agree to their terms and conditions, which, let's face it, most of us don't read. But within those terms are some clauses that could impact your ownership rights and even your ability to make money from the content you create. For example, did you know that by using InShot, you are granting them certain rights to your content? Okay, draw closer and let me let you know something. Here is the InShot app. Here are the terms and conditions I want to discuss today.
Now let's go to our InShot app. From here, we're going to go to InShot Premium up there. Next, we are going to go to the InShot Pro there. Click it, go to Frequently Asked Questions. Let us start with the last question. It says, what do I do if my music is removed by Instagram? Now, it addresses what you should do. It says you should file an appeal and that the musician will support you through your appeal process, which implies that in the first place, posting on Instagram, you're going to get a copyright violation. And that implies that your content is not even safe on Instagram if you use the InShot music. It's very clear from here. So the appeal is like after you must have posted, Instagram must have flagged your content, you must have gone through the emotional torture of all of that before you file an appeal and before the appeal will get approved and all those, you understand. The next question says, I would like to get my music featured on InShot. Now let's read this very closely. InShot advertises to other musicians to feature in their InShot and reach 100 million users, gain more visits and follows to their social page, get lifetime InShot Pro and receive donations from their users. Right, so musicians try to create music for InShot. These musicians in turn have a licensing agreement with third parties. Okay, it's getting more interesting. Let's get to another question. Why did I receive YouTube music copyright claim? It says that content ID claims don't result in copyright strikes, channel suspension, or channel termination. Usually, the claim is just to track or monetize the video, not to block it. So your video remains live with these claims, but may still continue showing on the YouTube, right? So it may, which means that the claims may be there, but your video will still be on YouTube, and YouTube may keep showing adverts on it. Okay, let's not waste much time. Let's go to the fonts, use of fonts. Can I use built-in fonts for commercial purpose? It says all fonts have corresponding license. Please check carefully before use. Some fonts may be only for personal use. Okay, so let's now go to the actual terms and conditions. If you've not read this is a very good opportunity to look through it if you're using InShot or if you plan on using InShot. We're going to go straight to intellectual property. I summarize this for us. All services provided by InShot, including derivative words and services, are owned by their licensors. You are subject to the licensor's terms and conditions, right? So what this means is that any music or any effect designs or fonts are usually owned by the licensors, that those persons that create those music, those original creators that create those musics for InShot. And every copyright belongs to those licensors. Therefore, any content you're creating with that music will belong to those licensors. That's just a simple and short of this long terms and conditions. Now let's look at the font licensing statement. It also states here that InShot source their fonts from other creator license websites or other sources. These fonts are not owned by InShot, and InShot is not sure about the licensing agreements that come with the font. Right, so it's very simple and straightforward. They source these funds from external sources, so they do not know the licensing agreement between those persons that created these funds on those websites and the websites. So it just complicates the issue more. If you create with their funds, there is going to be copyright on it, and even InShot is not even sure about the copyright terms. Okay, now let's go to AI generated music. I had a question about this in one of my comment section. It says here, all AI music in the app are intended for personal use only. Personal use only. So don't think that, oh, because it's AI generated, there's no copyright. There is copyright on those AI generated music. Now let us look at something that they said here. It says that they cannot guarantee that these albums are free of infringement. Now, what is your responsibility? InShot can use your content in accordance with the terms and conditions, and they will not be held liable. Interesting, right? So you have to abide by the terms and conditions and the other parties' licensing agreements. Let's look at the last one, disclaimers and warranties. Very important. InShot disclaim every defect arising from use of their app. Purchase at your own risk. Buyers, beware. So the app is sold as is. So whatever defect is in the app, InShot will not take responsibility. Now, it says if you have any disputes, this is the email you can send your disputes to.
In many content creators' apps, including InShot, there are clauses that allow the company to use your content for various purposes. While this doesn't necessarily mean they own your content, it does mean they have certain rights that could impact your control over how it's used. This is something a lot of content creators don't realize. So even if you're a paid subscriber or you buy the lifetime or the premium and all of that, you are still subject to their monetization policy. Let's look at some monetization challenges and the monetization risk. Now, here's another crucial point. If you are hoping to monetize your content on platforms like YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram, using InShot might come with its own risk. Many creators have reported issues with monetization because the content they edited on InShot was flagged by these platforms. Why? Because the terms and conditions allow InShot to retain certain rights, which can sometimes trigger copyright claim. Plus, those persons that create content for InShot have a copyright over your content. So even if you sweat and you create content with InShot, at the end of the day, the licensors are the ones benefiting. So now, after we've delved into all of this, are you surprised? What can you do? Here are a few tips to consider when using InShot or any similar app. First off, read the fine print. Take a moment to understand what you're agreeing to when you use the app. Specifically, look for anything about ownership, licensing, or the app's right to your content. Consider alternative tools. If you're serious about copyright and monetization, it might be worth investing in software that gives you full ownership and control over your content. Export your work safely. Before you upload your InShot edited content, be aware of any flags that might come up during the upload process on platforms like YouTube or Instagram.
I compiled a list of what you should do in case you find out that you're not monetized because you use some of these InShot features. If your videos are flagged for originality, this is one of the issues to consider. YouTube may not necessarily tell you that this is it, but you should look into this if you use the InShot app. One is make sure you keep all your editing history, including detailed step-by-step procedure of how you imported the InShot music. This is relevant during the appeal process so that YouTube can see that this is actually your content, but you only use their music, and they can direct you accordingly on what to do in order to get remonetized. Out directly. Many platforms have this appeal process, so try and discuss with the InShot support system to determine whether or not your videos will get monetized or whether or not there are some copyrights on your videos and what you should do. Make sure you keep a track of those conversations because they're going to be very useful to you during the appeal process. Check the app's terms on appeals or disputes. Research what the app considers acceptable content to argue that your content meets this criteria, even if you must have used any of their licensing fonts or any of their music. I have some more tips on what you can do. If you need some advice, some more advice, put down in my comment section and I'll definitely respond. Or you can try to contact me directly if you need further directions on this.
To wrap it up, InShot is a fantastic tool, but as with any app, we need to be aware of its potential risks, especially when it comes to copyright and monetization. Always keep an eye on the terms and consider whether a free app is the best choice for your goals as a creator. Thank you all for tuning in to Content Creation Apps Uncovered. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time as we explore other apps and tips to empower you as creators. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Bye.